C.A.T.C.H process is a very simple yet highly effective best sales process in the whole world. C.A.T.C.H is a 5-step sales process for inbound leads. This shit doesn't work for cold calls. It doesn't work for knocking on doors, so it's not effective for that. But for inbound leads, it's the most effective sales process we can have. The C stands for clarify. The way that I have a sales conversation is, let's say, we'll go back to using Mark here. Mark slides in my DM, gives me his phone number. I set an appointment. I call Mark at the appointment time. Hey, Mark, it's Ryan Stewman. How's it going? He's gonna say whatever. I'm like, hey man, where are you from? He's gonna say where he's from. What do you do for a living? He's gonna say what he does for a living. It seems like just casual conversation, right? I'm just being an interested person. But really what I'm doing is I'm gathering information up front, the first 30 seconds of this conversation. Now I know where Mark lives, what he does for a living. As soon as he tells me what he does for a living, he's, where do you live, Mark? Nebraska. And what do you do for a living? Business brokerage? Sell cancer insurance. So he's in Nebraska, sells cancer insurance. So I'm gonna be like, do you know Jeff Ducharme? He lives up in Nebraska. He's been a member for about 6 or 7 years, and he probably sells that too. I think he sells everything, but he's been very successful in our program. So what I've done right there, immediately in the first 30, 45 seconds of this conversation, is I've shown interest in Mark, and then I've also showed him somebody like him that's a part of our program in his geographical area that sells something similar to him is having success. So when we get through the objection part, he's not gonna go, will it work for me? Does it work in Nebraska? I've already handled that shit early on in the game subconsciously, without him even know to bring up or give me that objection down the road. Once I've gone through that, the most powerful question in sales has to be asked. What made you decide to reach out? I told you it's gonna be simple, but keeping it simple sells. So what made you decide to reach out? That question insinuates that you made a decision and you reached out to me. Okay, so now we're putting authority in place. Hey, you came to me, I'm not bothering you. This isn't a, hey, what can I do for you? What made you decide? The number one toughest thing to get a human being to do is to make a decision. Why? Decisions have consequences. Most people avoid responsibility and consequences like it's COVID. And the reason why I say that is because, again, decisions come with consequences. If I'm driving down the road, I drop my phone, I reach over and get it, and when I get it, I swerve up on the thing and I kill somebody. Probably not gonna go to jail. It's gonna be a whole fiasco, but I'm probably not gonna go to jail because it was an accident. I didn't make the decision to run over that motherfucker. But if I'm driving down the road and I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker owes me $100, and run him over, that's a decision. That has a consequence, like life in prison. And so most people, they're scared to make decisions because they come with consequence. They're so scared to make decisions. You can ask your significant other when they're hungry, hey man, where do you want to go eat? Oh no, but we need that to stay alive. You don't know? Well, you decide. Everybody wants somebody else to make that decision. So 45 seconds into this phone call, what made you decide? When they respond, they're admitting that they made a decision with you involved. You've already got over the hardest objections that you could possibly have to deal with at the end of the sales process, 45 seconds into the call, and they don't even realize that you've already overcame that because it was a casual, gentle conversation with a powerful question. Now, here's what happens. When you say, what made you decide to reach out? There's 2 types of answers you're gonna get. No more, 2 types only. Number 1, if I ask Alex, he may go, I'm just trying to see what you're all about, man. 1 sentence. This is the guy that I'm gonna get a load of objections from at the end because he's holding it. Hey, what made you decide to reach out? I'm just checking. I'm gonna have to really draw it out of this person. A lot of people, they hate the second person even though the second person's the lay down sale. The second person's, hey man, what made you decide to reach out? Listen, bro, in the 3rd grade, Tiffany, she was the prettiest girl in there. I know I'm 90 years old, but it all started in the 3rd grade. They start telling you this hour-long story. Salesmen suck at listening. What do? They interrupt. Oh yeah, well let me tell you this shit. Dude, perfect, 5 minutes. He's gonna tell me the story for an hour. 5 minutes into it, the salesman, no, well let me tell you, Alex, that right, I hate to interrupt, that's why you gotta buy our shit. Like he's not done telling me his problem. And I'm already showing him that I'm apathetic towards listening to what the I asked him to tell me in the first place. And then salesmen wonder why they don't close the shit. Dale Carnegie said it best, if you want people to like you, be like a puppy. Be genuinely interested and show them. Your dog comes up to you, he's wagging his tail, you know he's interested. He comes up, he's shaking his ass, twerking, he's happy. Tail's wagging, you know. Here's the thing, the person that gives you 1 sentence, they're very guarded. They're not trying to be vulnerable with you. They're not sure why they're even there. The person that starts telling you a long ass story, they're being vulnerable so that you'll listen to them, so that you can, so they're hoping that if they tell you their whole thing, you can give them a solution. That's the only reason they're telling you that story. And here's the beautiful part of it, nobody listens to anybody anymore. So when you're the actual person listening to them, they're like, for the first time, my wife don't listen to me, my kids don't listen to me, my employees don't listen to me, my dog's tail's not wagging, but Ryan, this guy's actually paying attention. He's me, and oh man, wow. Just those little not interruptions, just those little affirmative things to show that I'm paying attention, even though I might be scrolling my phone because I heard all these goddamn stories a million times at this point in my career. I could have interrupted him 2 seconds into it when I already got your problem, but he doesn't know I know his problem. Yeah, I'm an expert, but he doesn't know I know. Everybody feels special, right? Like all of us have the same damn problem. We want to have a better life and make more money. It's just however you got to having that problem is how you got here, and you got to tell a story to unfold that. But if I'm not listening to him, then what I'm missing is empathy. And there's two things that close sales: empathy and confidence. That's all you need. Empathy comes from listening and showing interest to people. So if Alex is telling me an hour-long story, I know he's telling me this story because he's looking for a solution. And I need all the facts in order to get the solution that he's gonna believe. So it's my job to be as empathetic as possible and make sure that he knows that I'm listening. The confidence comes from product knowledge, by the way, being confident that your product can actually solve those problems. But if you'll listen to somebody, and people buy based on your confidence, not theirs, because he don't fucking know. If Alex has never been in a mastermind before, he don't know if this is gonna work or not. He's betting on my level of confidence through the phone call to help his level of confidence that it'll actually work. I always say on that time when they're telling you that long story, he who speaks the least earns the most. If you're the person that talked too much, if I ask Alex, hey, what made you decide to reach out? And then I use more words than he did, chances are I'm gonna blow that sale. If I ask Alex, what made you decide to reach out? And he uses more words than I did, chances are I'm gonna win that sale because I listened more than I talked. You might even ask, is that all? Anything else you wanna add? To let them know, hey, I really care, I really do wanna listen. You know, you might have talked for an hour. Is there anything else before I start that you may wanna tell me? He really does care. And it helps if you really do care. I really do care, so that helps too. But then I'm gonna do I'm gonna assign their mind to an agenda. So A is the agenda. It works like this. As soon as Alex is done talking, anything else? No, man, that's it. What do you got? Well, here's what I want to do, Alex. Let me ask you a few more questions. And while I'm asking you those questions, all I ask is that you answer them honestly. And at any point, if you got questions for me, just ask me and I'll be honest too. Does that sound fair? So now I haven't done anything invasive. I haven't done anything weird. I'm just saying, hey, can we agree that let's have a conversation? Let me ask you some questions. So then we're gonna go to T, which is talk. So now I'm gonna do exactly what I told them I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ask them some questions. So your salespeople need to have 5 to 10 preloaded questions that they need to ask every customer. You are the business owner. You need to write those 5 or 10 questions down and give those to your salespeople. You can ask them hey, what should we ask? And you can get some feedback, but ultimately that sign off needs to come from you. And you need to have at least 5 questions. And they need to be open-ended questions. I can't say, Alex, you like more money or less money? It's like, Alex, so what is more money to you, right? We want him to talk. He who speaks the least earns the most. We want to get them talking, so we're going to ask them open-ended questions. We're not going to give them a multiple choice question. We're going to ask them an open-ended question because we want them talking. The more they talk, the more evidence we're extracting, the more information we're extracting for them, the more we can become empathetic and understanding of their situation. So I'm going to ask them these 5 questions that should logically lead them to a point where after the questions are answered, that I can make the pitch, which is the next C, which is the call to action, or you can put close. Alex has answered the final question. Man, first of all, thank you for answering those questions. That's really interesting, man. I'd love to help you. You know, I think the best fit for you is gonna be our Apex Entrepreneur Program. We have 4 2-day meetups a year. We have bi-weekly meetups online. We have our own Facebook group. But the bigger point is, man, when you come in and you follow our process and build your machine with the playbooks that we've built, it's not only gonna allow you to solve XYZ problem that you talked about, so on, so we're gonna go in and pitch them on our product. Now here's the cool part. The person that was guarded in the beginning is gonna give us objections. Hey, Alex, you should buy this product. Well, they're guarded. The person that talked the longest, they're most likely not to even give me an objection and go, that's the solution I'm looking for. But the guy that gives you an objection, that's where H comes in. You handle those objections, help them make a decision. That might include a bonus. Kevin Nations was really good about saying, hey, our program's $8,000, but if you'll sign up today while we're on this call, I'll reduce it to $5,000. You call me back tomorrow, it's 8. We're helping them make a decision. We're handling their objection. Hey man, it's too expensive. Well, if you'll make that decision today, I'll make it a little bit cheaper on you. Maybe you don't want to give a discount. Maybe you're not in a business where you can give a discount, and you can handle their objections by getting them to do something, move forward, whatever that is in each one of your businesses. But following that process, from start to finish. If you can train your sales guys on this, you can come up with the questions. This is a super easy process that anybody can get plugged into immediately, because I'm not relying on you being good with the gift of gab. I just need you to ask these questions and listen. You know, people come in here all the time and they say, bro, I'm a fucking closer, I'm a beast on the phone. It's like, man, you're not gonna work for us. We're looking for listeners and carers, not closers and like that. We're looking for someone who can actually listen to our people and have their best interest in mind. You notice Drewby started off as an intern. Zach started off as an intern, right? So did Taylor, so did Blake. None of our guys started off as beasts on the phone. I found out that they care about our customers, so I put them as customer-facing people. Once you get that process down, guess what we've got? We've got a predictable system to get content out there, to get people in. We've got a way to capture leads, DMs, comments, everything else to get to our people. And then we've got our people a 5-step process to walk them through that allows them to make a decision in a non-pressure, comfortable way that makes them feel empowered to make the decision. It's a win-win process, like I said, that's lasted to the tune of over $50 million so far for me. It's very simple. You know, the most powerful question in sales is what made you decide to reach out? It sounds like nothing at all, but it is very powerful. This whole process, I could spend hours up here actually telling you about the neurolinguistic programming behind this and the subconscious thoughts that make this thing so powerful. You take that back to your people, generate inbound leads, it's bulletproof. So clarify why they're there. So clarify, assign the agenda, talk to them, call them to action, and help them make a decision.